if you're in this horrible space of looking back at the relationship and the breakup and the things that you said or the things that you didn't do or the things that you did do and thinking, oh my God, maybe it was me. Maybe I actually was the problem. Maybe there was something else I could have done. Maybe I should have just done this or that or not done this or that. Maybe I should reach out. Maybe I should say something. And I guarantee you that you've been round every corner of your mind trying to figure it out. So in this video, we're going to put a bit of the overthinking to bed and leave you with a bit of peace so that you can stop judging yourself and feel better about the situation. Okay, so before I get into this video, I'd like to let you know that my new course, Securely You, is now live, which is so exciting because it's going to be 5 weeks. If you just give me 5 weeks, we're going to turn this breakup situation around. We're going to turn this anxiety around. We're going to make you feel so much more secure in yourself so that you can actually go into the next phase of your life, the next era of your life, in a whole new narrative. Okay, so this is for anybody who's been going round and round in circles. Maybe you have been in many relationships that didn't work, almost worked for a while, then didn't. And you want to break that loop. You want to understand what's happened in the past. You want to heal. You want to grow. You want to actually have the transformation where you feel most like you and you can walk into a relationship calmly, understanding how to handle all of the aspects of yourself, knowing that there's nothing wrong with you after all. Okay, so if you want to join, you can find out all the information in the link below. There is an early bird discount code, which is SECURE20, which gives you 20% off. So it takes it down from $350 to $280. So it's quite a good discount. You also get a free 30-minute one-to-one with me as well. So it's worth it. It's going to be amazing. I have designed this group course based on all of the successful things about all of my other group programs. And I've put everything together and added more. So it's intended to have massive impact and create massive change. And if you're up for that, I would love to hear from you and meet you there. If you've got any questions about it, send me an email or a direct message and I will answer anything you need to know. Okay, so was it your fault? The thing is, obviously, in a relationship, it works when both people take accountability and responsibility for their side of the street. Now, the question is a bit of a trick question because if you know me and any of my videos, then you'll know that I'm not going to point the finger at anybody. And I'm certainly not going to point the finger at you, okay? There's no blame. There's no fault. And the most mature way of looking at this is being able to see that you only knew what you knew at the time. You can only do what you can do at the time with the knowledge that you've got at the time. So you know really that you did your best with the knowledge that you had at the time, okay? And this kind of eases off some of the regret feeling that you might be having. And also another thing to think as well is that this had to happen. Like however you showed up, even if you look back at it and you think, oh God, why did I do that? That's great. That's a lesson. That had to happen. It had to happen this way. I've spoken to clients who went through cycles of being the one who was pulling away, being the one who was distancing themselves. And then later they can look back and go, oh my God, something happens that's hard, that's difficult, there's a loss. And it makes them see, oh my God, I can't believe that I was showing up that way. I can't believe that was my survival strategy. And now I know I can change. I can work on this. So whatever has happened, however you showed up, you had to get the mirror reflection back for you to evolve. The pain is the thing that precedes the transformation, right? So wherever you are, you're meant to be here. Whatever you did, you were meant to do. Whatever you did in the relationship or didn't do was meant to happen so that you could get the lessons, the messages, the insights that you need in order to create the transformation that you want. Okay? So I imagine, if you're watching my videos, most of the people who follow my channel are people who are very self-reflective and who very much want to be in a relationship where there is true accountability, where there's kindness, where there's love, where there's respect. And I imagine that if you were showing up in a way that was offering those things, and then let's say sometimes the situation is that you're offering these things and then, like in every relationship, right, people get triggered. Just because you get triggered doesn't mean you did something wrong. What matters is that you're in a safe container to be triggered, yeah? And I imagine that you are a safe container for somebody else to be triggered, and that you can hold the space for other people. And sometimes what happens in relationship dynamics that end up going wrong is that the other person maybe pulls away, maybe acts in a toxic way, maybe acts in their survival responses, and then it triggers you to act in a way that you're not proud of. And then if that person is not healthy, they will use that against you and will point the finger at you, and you will start doubting yourself and wondering if you've done something wrong. But if that person is healthy, is actually a healthy person, they will be able to take a step back, reflect on it, reflect on their trigger, their response, and be able to hold the space for you to reflect on yours, and you'll be able to have a conversation of repair, right? So being in a healthy relationship does not mean that sometimes toxic things don't happen. Those things can happen because we inevitably get triggered into our childhood patterns. So I was saying to a client earlier, don't beat yourself up for sometimes having acted like a child. Like, don't beat yourself up for that. That was happening because you were being triggered by somebody, and they were not a safe space for you to be able to process your own triggers, right? So that's okay. That happens sometimes. And you ideally want to be in a relationship where you can both slow down, take a breather, and be able to reflect on what happened in the relationship and what happened in that instance, in that argument or whatever, so that you can have that repair. If you were doing that, and you were offering that, and you were wanting that, and you were going towards this person with wanting to have conversations to repair things, wanting to fix it, wanting to hold yourself accountable, then you were not the problem. You were not the problem, okay? And if the other person was not doing that, it doesn't mean that they're the entire problem, because the other problem is being able to take responsibility for the fact that you stayed. Now, this is where your biggest growth and lessons go, because some people will say, well, how can I stop myself choosing people like this in the past? You have to allow yourself in the future, how can I stop myself from choosing people like this in the future when I've always done it in the past? A lot of the time, the coping strategies that we have are avoidance. They're either overthinking, figuring out, trying to work it out, and all of those things stop you from feeling the thing that you need to feel in order for your nervous system to adjust so that you no longer want to accept that kind of poor behavior. You have to allow yourself to sit with the discomfort. You have to allow yourself to sit with the disappointment that this person couldn't meet you where you wanted to be met. Only then will you honestly be able to take responsibility for choosing and being with someone who you can see the red flags in but still stay anyway. Okay, you have to allow yourself to see it for what it is and think, oh my God, this didn't work. I really wanted it to work and it didn't work, and I'm really sad about it. That is taking responsibility as well, because your part in this is being able to say, I stayed, allowed myself to be triggered over and over and over and over again. Not because there's anything wrong with me, but because I have a beautiful, hopeful soul that wants to see the best in people. That's a good thing. That's a really, really good thing. But there comes a point where you go, I'm here and it's bringing out the worst of me and I'm feeling worse. It's bringing out the worst in me and I'm feeling worse about myself. And so then I have to make difficult decisions. And those difficult decisions are hard because nobody wants to sit with the disappointment, right? So that's your responsibility. So the question you need to ask yourself is, what can I learn from this relationship? Where was I willing to have the vulnerable conversations? And where did I hide from my own disappointment? And where did hiding from my own disappointment lead me to accepting behavior that I didn't really want? And what can I take with me in the future in order for me to create a different type of dynamic? You can only work on your side of the street, but there were two of you. So there's no one to blame. There are both people. And this experience that you've had is making you more conscious, which is what had to happen in order for you to create the relationship that you really want. So all is well. There's no need to judge yourself. You did the absolute best you could with the knowledge that you had at the time. I know one of the really hard things about this that's so hard to let go of is when the other person thinks that you are at fault. And what you've got to think with this is if they're thinking in that black and white type of way, they don't have the emotional maturity and the nuance in their mind in order to see that actually there is a much bigger picture than that. There is no one person at fault. So no, you were not completely to blame for the end of your relationship. There were two of you, and in a mature relationship, you will both be able to see that. So I hope this gives you some comfort and some peace. And I hope it kind of takes the pressure off you and it makes you see that you are exactly where you're meant to be. This had to happen. It wasn't going to work if those vulnerable conversations couldn't happen. And where you tried and they didn't, this means that it puts a halt on the relationship deepening and progressing. Okay? And again, that's not to point the finger at them, because the other finger can point back at you and say, but you did stay. That's okay because you were hopeful, like I say, but there are both things at play. So I hope you found this video useful. If you'd like any more information about what I do, the Heartbreak Healers Club, Securely You, which is going to be awesome. It's got a mastermind week at the end. It's going to be epic. There will be such big breakthroughs, transformations, and a new connection to yourself that you didn't know you needed. If you've got any questions about that, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.